Welcome to Strength by Design podcast. I am your host, or one of three hosts, Rona. And on episode 3, we are representing our city. So you will see me in my St. Louis sweatshirt. We're
Brooklyn.
representing our
Hey
hometown.
Z.
And thank you for those of you who have seen our previous episodes. I am going to now pass it over to the next co-host. Is Phoenix in the building?
Phoenix is in the building. I am Hope. Strength by Design is a show where we invite our audience to learn how to design the quality of life that you desire, one choice at a time. One choice at a time. Before I pass it over to Brooklyn, we just want to humbly ask that if you are vibing, connecting with our content, that you please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Strength by Design Podcast. Brooklyn, over to you.
Thank you, Phoenix. Thank you, St. Louis. For today, I may have to have y'all call me Brooklyn.
Absolutely. BK.
BK,
Okay.
some Biggie. Don't have me start singing some Biggie, okay?
Absolutely.
Please
Feel
do.
free.
Do it.
Feel free. Because it'll be hot in her in a minute. You already know.
Literally.
Okay, I feel a little left out because we don't have nobody. Phoenix don't have no hip hop for me to represent.
We're going to have to figure that out for
I
you.
digress.
We're going to have to figure that out for you.
We're going to figure that out, Hope. We're going to figure that out for sure. Well, everyone, it is so great to have you all joining us today for episode 3 of Strength by Design. Episode 3 of Strength by Design. We're super excited about this episode. We're really talking today about the strength you didn't ask for and the reality of being a single mom. And I know this is a hot topic for many people out there. And of course, we talk within this podcast. We're going to be talking specifically about the journey of mothers. However, of course, we have some dads, some dope dads, some
for sure.
that are doing their thing and handling their business and being amazing fathers to their children. But this podcast, we're going to talk about the women in terms of the mother's perspective.
Yeah.
Of course, we know single motherhood is not just about raising children. It's not just about that role of raising children. Many of us, although we recognize that many of us may be single moms within our communities, that really isn't a decision that we all chose,
Right.
Circumstances that really have come into our lives. So during this hot podcast, we're going to be talking about the journey. We're going to talk about the travails. We're going to talk about what have really been the moving parts and the steps that have shaped our journey throughout. So as we kick off this topic, starting with myself, I am a single mom to 4 children. Although I have 4 children, I have 3 adult men who have now moved on in their lives, are husbands and adults. And I have a younger daughter. And of course, for myself, it's always been a journey in terms of how I define parenthood and my role. It's something different when I'm raising myself, like a daughter, but something completely different when I am in the space of raising sons. And that was a struggle for me, trying to make sure that I raise them where I'm giving them life, I'm shaping them, and knowing and recognizing my power as a mother in growing them and developing them, So it's been a journey. It's been a journey ongoing. So how about you all, girls? What do you all maybe can understand or relate to that experience?
I think this is an amazing topic. So thank you, Jen, for bringing this to the circle and pitching it to us to be a topic that we cover. I think first and foremost, let's discuss and really define what being a single parent looks like, right?
Yep, that's what I was going to say.
There's so many different situations, right? Every single parent situation is not the same because you have, in my situation, I'm a single parent as well, raising 2 sons, and I have had zero support from my ex-husband in terms of not only the financial support, but the physical support of even being there for my sons. But then some situations look different, right? I'm going to leave one different situation for Hope to explain, but the others are, I mean, even in your situation where you have children and the father is present, but he's not present in the home.
Right.
So
Right.
because he's present, but not in the home, because he's present, does that mean that you're not a single parent?
Right.
Absolutely, you're a single parent.
Right.
Because the day-to-day decisions that have to be made, right? When the school calls, right? I had a whole issue this morning, unfortunately, with my older son. He had an incident at work. Um, I'm the only person that's readily available to go and be present to deal with
Yeah.
whatever situation. So I think we want to define and talk about really what does single motherhood look like.
Right.
So Hope, I'm going to pass it over to you because
Well, I think the initial thing that's important that we point out is that the name single mom or single dad or single parent doesn't take away from the other parent. It's not
That's right.
absolutely
intended to be like a slight or
Mhm.
a punch to the
right,
other parent.
Mhm.
right,
So I'm not
right,
saying that it's
Yep.
intentional that you're not doing what you're supposed to do. I think on a very initial level, single parenting is just I'm the one, as we were just talking about, I'm the one carrying the load every day.
Right.
You
right,
Right.
don't live here. So
right.
regardless of your intentions or the money you send
That part,
or the
that part.
advice that you give over the phone
Mm,
or the gifts that you send, it doesn't take away from the day-to-day grind that parent who has full custody of the children or the predominant custody of the children
That's right.
um, participates in. So I think
absolutely.
when you see conversations about this like on social media out there, it's very divisive
Right.
because you have
Hmm.
people feeling
Hmm.
offended
Right.
that that someone's saying I'm a single mom, and
Right.
so somebody's getting offended by that. It's not meant to offend, it's just stating the reality of that grind,
That's right.
right, that
Come on,
parent has
that
on a
part,
day-to-day basis.
that part.
And that's
Thank
real.
you. Oh my gosh. Go ahead, Jen.
That's real. That's
Hmm.
real. That's real. And really, I mean, the title of our top podcast today is "To Strength You Didn't Ask For." As a
Right.
child, nowhere in the world would I have ever been given this narrative that I would ever be a single mom. I
Come
never
on.
thought that that would have been my
Yeah.
reality, but yet it was. Yet it
Right.
is, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So even to your point, it's like I had to reframe and redefine what
Mhm.
family life will look like for us
Mhm.
Mhm.
outside of the
Mhm.
traditional parameters or footprints that we've all been given. Really defining, redefining what that is, and that there could absolutely be richness in it,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
even as a
Yeah.
single mom. You
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
there can be richness in it, that there's growth in it, that it's not quote unquote coined as dysfunction just because you have a quote unquote non-traditional structure in terms of
Right.
family life. So, I mean,
Right.
what are y'all thoughts on that?
It sounds like to me what you're basically saying is that you had to essentially first rebuild yourself.
That's right.
Right. Understanding that, again, we go into marriages with expectations of being married.
Mhm.
Otherwise, why
Of
do you
course.
get married?
Yep.
And then you produce these children, and then there's additional expectations of, okay, now I'm having a child. We're having a child. It's our child. We're going to raise this child together. And then something happens, and then you're not. For
Mhm.
me,
Right.
even still, for instance, with my situation, my ex-husband had a child, and I watched how he was parenting the child in our courtship process, and that made me desirous of wanting to marry him and have children with him. And even knowing, even if the marriage didn't work, at
Right.
least look at how he's parenting, co-parenting.
Right.
But that
Right.
situation did not happen with
Right.
me at
Yeah.
all. And it was just so cantankerous. It was just negative, right?
Mhm.
That I was so disappointed in that,
Mm. Mm.
that that I harbored guilt
Mm.
because,
Talk about
I
guilt.
based my decision on moving forward and marrying and having a family with somebody who
Based
did not
on.
deliver.
That's right.
Yeah.
Did not deliver. And so I had to rebuild and reshape my framework in terms of how am I going to now be at the head of this household that I never wanted to be at? I never
Yeah.
wanted to be the head of the household.
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
wanted that.
Yeah.
So
Right.
so dealing
Yeah.
with that devastation, dealing with now this newfound position that
That's
I have
real.
to put myself in, then having to become a business owner. So because I had to finance now because I wasn't getting any financial support,
Think about that.
having to now step into that lane that again, I wanted to be a
Didn't
wife and
ask
mother.
for.
I
Right.
wanted to be a
Right.
wife and a
Right.
mother.
Right.
Man, people ask
Right.
me now about being a business owner. I didn't have the aspirations of doing what I'm doing, but I'm grateful to God that God is the best knower and not me, and that
That's
I simply just succumb to my faith,
that's
right? When I removed my ex husband as the head of our household and Allah placed me in that seat, then I said, okay, well, here we go. Clearly, you're the best knower. You have this all figured out. So I'm just going to be found being ready so I don't have to get ready. But that took a lot of work. It took a lot
Yeah.
of work in me rebuilding myself,
no doubt.
setting new expectations.
No doubt.
And then again, talking about this strength. I didn't ask to be that damn strong.
No,
That's
you didn't
real.
ask for
No,
that.
no, ma'am.
That's real.
So
That's
again,
real.
that's how I feel about it. I'm just like,
Yeah.
listen, but again, I would not have asked for a situation to be any different in terms of the relationships that I have with my sons. And I have, and we have, and we are really killing so many different myths of Black women not being able to raise emotionally present,
Right.
mature, sound,
Absolutely.
work children with young men with work ethics. Like
Right.
that's a lie that
That is
that the truth ain't nowhere up in that. Because how do I know? Because there's tangible examples within the three moms that are sitting on this podcast
absolutely.
right now that could readily
Yes.
produce their children, and the fruit will bear witness to the tree.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Absolutely. And that's
So
real. That's real. I mean, I could say for myself, there is no greater mission that was greater than me being a mom. That is greater
Hmm.
than me being a mom.
mm-hmm,
Hmm.
Nothing.
mm-hmm,
Hmm.
Nothing. It's like I have given my heart, my soul, my being to raising my children.
Yeah.
When my children suffer, I suffer. You know, when my children are in pain, I'm in pain. So my
Yeah.
goal, like yours, was to produce, to make sure that I've given them the best reality as possible. But going back to what you shared also is the fact that that there was a spiritual strength that was a part of that. I know
mm-hmm,
without a
mm-hmm.
fragment of a doubt that I wouldn't
Right,
have been able to achieve anything of what I had, whether it's
Without that.
entrepreneur,
right,
being
right,
none of that if I didn't have Allah with me.
Yeah.
Like He
right,
walked every step of that journey with me. And I can say and
mm-hmm,
bear witness that I've never gone without
right,
because of
right,
Him,
right, right.
Yeah.
because of that journey. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that's
So
real.
Hope,
That's real.
there's a different lens that I really want you to add because
Yes.
you're married, been married a
Yeah.
beautiful
Yes,
26 years, but you have a
Yeah.
blended family. So
completely.
Yes.
even your lens and your perspective of
For sure.
single motherhood
Very, very
is
different.
very relevant and it
Absolutely.
but yet different, which shows the expansive kind of view of this thing. So I would love to for you to
Absolutely.
For
share
sure.
your experience.
Absolutely.
So I feel like what I'm getting ready to say may be seen as a little controversial, a little out of the box,
That's why we're
but
here. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we're here.
that's what we're here for. So I think that you can be married and still to some degree, and let me just say happily married
Right.
in a healthy marriage and still be a single parent.
Mm.
Mhm.
And let me
Mhm.
explain
Go ahead.
why that
Well,
is
what
and
you
how
mean
that
by that?
is.
Well, what you mean by that?
Right,
So
right,
obviously I'm not single, I'm
right.
married,
Of
but we're
course.
talking about just the specific parenting piece.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
when you enter into a blended family as a mom or a dad, you are the step parent, bonus parent, however you want to word it to these children, right? Because most of the time they
Mhm.
have already an existing
Mhm.
active mother or father who's in their life, right?
Right, right.
Mhm.
So in this situation, the parent who's a step or the bonus parent is in a position where yes they are the other parent in the
Right.
home, they're there, they're present on a day to day, but they're somewhat withdrawn on what kind of advice or guidance or hammer they're going to put down, because there's another person who's not in
Mhm.
the home who is really the one who's making those calls. So in my situation specifically, my husband has a great relationship with my older children, has been in their life since they were young, like 9 and 5.
Mhm.
Um, but they have a dad. And
Mhm.
so, out of respect for their dad, he would acquiesce to him on various things that happened. So, in that situation, on the day to day, I was still kind of single parenting and how decisions were made. My
Right.
husband was reluctant to say, it needs to be
Yes.
this or it needs to be
Yes.
that,
Right.
because the reality is those are not
Not
his
his
children.
children.
And another
Exactly.
man has a voice in that situation.
Mhm.
So that I'm the only parent who has that responsibility
Right.
for
Right.
all the day-to-day things for
Mhm.
those children, because I'm not calling
Right.
their dad every
Right.
day all day
Right.
about, we had an argument about their shoes, or
Right.
they want to go outside and I said no, or all the things that I'm deciding on.
Right.
So it's still on me,
Mhm.
because even though I
Absolutely.
have the support of my husband and the support of their dad, at the end of the day, I'm in a very unique position as the
Absolutely.
only parent who is actively involved in the whole piece on a day to day.
And that's
And I
real.
think that is very real, and I think,
Yeah.
and I'm glad. Thank you for sharing your perspective, and it shouldn't be controversial. Why? Because it's a real situation that was even in my household. My ex-husband had a 2.5-year-old when we married, and I there were boundaries, right, that were in
Mhm.
place, and that I could not step over as the bonus parent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's very real, what you're saying, and at the end of the day, too, God willing, Jen and I won't be single forever. Like, I know that, our husbands who God said,
That's right.
that when he created us, he created our mates out of the same essence.
It's,
I know
that's
they're
right.
coming,
That's right.
because Jen and I also are doing our work to make that be the case. So that's something that we have to put in our minds as we're preparing, right, to have a husband, to talk about those things on the front end, and
Mhm.
making sure that that's a conscious situation that's
Yes.
always in the forefront of our minds and we're thinking about.
That's
Yes.
huge. That's
What
huge.
say
Yes.
you, Jen?
Yes.
Because I just
That's
spoke
huge.
for you, so you know how I do. I'm just speaking for you. So you go ahead and
That's
tell
Speaking
huge.
us.
from the heart, though. Speaking from the heart.
Speaking from the heart, speaking from the heart. And I think that's real. And I love what you shared, Hope. I love what you shared, Rona. In those relationships, and I think there's a lot of complexity in those dynamics. Because
Mm-hmm.
even when I'm looking at even relationships, I have a baby girl, though she's not
Mm-hmm.
a baby in a cradle, but she's my girl. She's my
Yeah, for
Right.
daughter.
sure.
And it's important to me that in every dynamic that it's a healthy relationship, right? That as I love my child, if I bring someone else that's into my life, what would those dynamics look like? Are you willing to love my daughter?
Right.
Are you capable of doing so?
Right.
There's some real dynamics where I want you, but I don't want what's yours.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm
Right.
Mm-hmm.
saying? So if you want me,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta want what's mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Absolutely.
not like
Absolutely.
a situation where you're able to separate me from my children. And
Absolutely.
and that's a real situation. And Jennifer will never be that thirsty.
Yeah.
Never be
That
Yeah.
part.
that
That
thirsty.
part.
Will
That
Yeah.
part.
never be that thirsty where she will not be able to make those effective choices
Mhm.
for the good and the
Mhm.
well-being of everyone that's involved.
N
So I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of complexities there. Like y'all, I know what that means to have a child. Like my ex-husband had children as well, and I loved them, and we had
Right.
amazing relationship, and still do. And I
Mhm.
think that's and I never really, honestly, never even knew anything outside of that reality. Like I never knew a reality where I wouldn't coexist or will have a great relationship and love and family. That's what I love. That's what I
Right.
expected.
Right.
So there's a lot of complexities there, especially when it comes
Yeah.
to relationships
Yeah.
and when you're growing up while you're going through those relationships as well.
Yeah.
Literally, you're raising your children while you are raising yourself. I mean, just parenting while we're evolving as women.
No doubt.
Just
For
learning,
sure.
right, how to grow emotionally,
That's right.
so that we can raise emotionally mature children,
Mm-hmm.
learning in real time. So, being a single parent, my children are quick to put a mirror up to me. So I'm learning myself in real time. And I think the greatest gift I gave myself was to let go of my ego,
Mm-hmm.
because God chooses who he wants to use, right, to deliver a message to you. And messages do come to us through our children.
That's right.
But we
Mm-hmm.
have to be humble enough to know that there is an element of God that exists in them like in us.
That's
So, the ability to respect what they have to say is a part of us and our ability to respect ourselves,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
But we
It's
had
the
to learn
same.
that. We had to learn that because I didn't have, I mean,
Man,
our generation didn't grow up with a
no,
voice. We were
no,
definitely the
no,
seen and not
no,
heard
no.
that part.
generation. So to evolve into that parent who could respect the voice of our children, but
Mm-hmm.
that did come from a level of vulnerability that
Mhm.
I
Mm-hmm.
had in those years where I was a single mom before I was remarried, and it was just me and my older two children.
Mm-hmm.
They saw a lot of tears, a lot
Yes.
of hopelessness,
Mm-hmm.
building
Mhm.
myself back up, finding my
Mhm.
way,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
which really bonded our relationship. Like our
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
relationship became so solid through those years where I didn't have a mate. My children
Right.
were like my ride or die. They
Right.
were the ones like
That's
Right.
cheering me
real.
up, like, Mom, it's gonna
Yeah.
be okay. You're gonna be
That's right.
Right.
good. Like that
That's
was
Right.
them.
that's
That
Yeah.
right.
was them.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And
That's
so that connection, that bond would have never happened had it not been for us to have to go down that path that allowed us to go through. Um,
Absolutely.
as a single
and,
mom and my children going through that.
and that's
Yeah.
key. And I think even when it comes to our children, there's a journey that created the singleness, right?
Absolutely. Right.
There's a journey that created the singleness,
Singleness.
right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So for me, when it came to my sons, when it comes to my daughter, it was important to me that they saw me being loved right.
Yes.
Mm.
For
Yes.
me being loved right, cared
Right.
for right,
Right.
protected right,
Right.
Right.
that
Right.
they were able to see examples. So I
Right.
didn't, they, although I think you spoke about it, Rona, in terms of growing, my children grew with me. We grew together.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
didn't hide that journey from them. I didn't hide the
Yes.
vulnerabilities from them. I didn't
That's
hide
it.
the pain from them. I didn't
That's
hide
it.
the difficulties from them. And I feel that that made them better.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It made them
Absolutely.
better. It made
Absolutely.
them better. Because
Absolutely.
I think I don't want them to see me as some type of superwoman.
Yeah.
No,
Correct.
I
That
don't
Yeah.
want
part.
that.
Yeah.
I
We
didn't
don't
want
have to be
that.
that.
We don't
Right.
have
No,
to
it's
be
not
that.
necessary. And
Right.
what I think what both of you all are saying is what I had to do. We had to introduce our children, and our children knew us as moms, right? They
Right,
knew us as mom,
right.
but we had to introduce them to Hope, Jennifer, and Rona.
That's
Right.
right.
They
Right.
had to get to know the girls. And
That's
by
right.
them
Yeah.
getting to know the girls and that being us being vulnerable, right? That gave them the ability to see us as human beings.
That's
We
right.
have to humanize ourselves to our children. We have to be willing to remove shame,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
being a single parent, there's supposed to be this shame
Mm-hmm.
attached to it,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
right?
right.
Yeah.
Which
Not,
then now I'm less than because I'm showing up at PTAs without a husband or without a
nah,
ring on. There's supposed to be some shame. Not
no,
me. No. And I'm gonna always be
Yeah.
up in this school. So I understand what you see belongs to me. So you ain't gonna never see nobody else, but you're gonna see me. But we
mm-hmm.
had to introduce our children to the girls. So
That's
then that gave them the ability to extend grace to us.
right.
And then them giving us grace is teaching us how to give ourselves grace, how to
Mm-hmm.
remove the guilt, how to
Mm-hmm.
be good with raising them the best way we knew how with the tools that we had,
Right.
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
being now more intentional about how we do
Right.
things, who we
Right.
allow to come around
Yeah.
them,
That's
that
right.
intentionality,
That's,
right? Because now we're in
that's
seats,
real.
married and single, that we're requiring reciprocity.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
when you require and demand reciprocity, and Jen, I think you talked about on the last episode, creating boundaries, but effective boundaries,
That's right. That's right.
right?
That's right.
That to me is a part of the strength that maybe that part we did ask for,
That's right. That's
right?
right.
That's the growing and the maturing into the strength that, yeah, I am that strong because I know how to say no, even
Mhm.
to the people I love, despite how much that might make me feel uncomfortable on the inside, but it's the best example for
That's
them,
right. That's right. That's huge.
right?
You know what I think is interesting right now is that the majority, though, at least for my children and their peers, the majority of households are single parent households. Like
Mhm.
either single parents or a remarried parent. Like
Mhm.
very few of my daughter's friends in
Mhm.
her circle have both of their parents still married. They
Wow.
might be in a second married or they might be a
Mhm.
single parent, but it's more the norm.
Mhm.
Right.
So more children and families are having to navigate single parent households and situations. That shame that we may have felt,
Yeah.
20 or 25 years ago when it was less norm,
Yeah.
now it's almost
Right.
like, oh, your parents are still married. Like it's a surprise
Right.
Right.
to people when they know that
Right.
we're
That's
still
right.
married. So it's just a very different day when it comes to how that looks in
Yeah.
society.
Very
Yeah.
different day, and there's a different demand on us in terms
Yeah.
of how we're raising them. For me,
Yeah.
I was committed when I recognized that I am a single mom. There's certain things I want. I had a vision of what I wanted in my children. I had a picture. I wanted them to be strong Black men. I wanted
Mhm.
them to be
Mhm.
confident in who they were. I wanted them to walk in power. I wanted them
Mhm.
not to be begging nobody for nothing. I wanted
Right.
Hmm.
them to know how to walk in and leave at will
Right.
Hmm.
in terms of any spaces, that they always
Right.
feel that they're enough, that they're confident and strong. So
Yeah.
those demands and those expectations demanded a certain type of parenting from me.
It
It
absolutely
demanded
did.
something different from me.
It
It
did. It
required
did.
that I learned. It required that I studied myself. It required that
Yes.
I controlled myself.
Yes.
That
Yes.
that I know what should come out my mouth, what shouldn't come out my mouth, what I should
Yes.
say, what I shouldn't say,
Absolutely.
what things I need to be strong on, what lines do I need to release a little bit. I had to learn those give ebbs and flows of parenting,
Absolutely.
because my
Come on.
goal is to raise strong men, a
Right.
strong daughter, you
Right.
know.
Right.
And I'm thankful, I'm grateful, like you all. I mean, I have an
Yeah.
amazing, I love the relationship I have with my children. But
Mhm.
if they were to come to my boys, they'll say, "Oh, ma, you are a bear." Heck yeah,
Right.
Had to be.
this ain't gonna get you.
Absolutely.
These streets
Absolutely.
are not going to get you. So
No.
Hmm.
I spent my many years always being on, in fear
Yes.
to some degree that, man, I'm missing something. What am I missing? I need to do this.
Yeah.
I need to do that, because I couldn't fail. I had,
No.
I could that was failure was not an option.
No. You were busy in the business of legacy and perspective
I'm
shifting,
making a God.
ma'am.
Yeah,
Shifting a
for
whole
sure.
paradigm. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Literally making gods and shifting paradigms and
Yeah, no
shifting
doubt.
the
No
your
doubt.
legacy. Because I told my sons my assignment was, because when my mom, I didn't know who my father was growing up. I was raised by my grandmother, right?
Right.
My mom, I didn't learn who my father was until a month before my 50th birthday.
Right. 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 Right.
So I
Wow.
told my sons, listen, my assignment from God was to have children and they know who their father is,
That's right.
right? Your assignments are to be married men and have cemented self esteem and self worth,
That's
to know
right.
the right woman to trust and have your discernment to choose the right woman to be
Right.
married to forever. So
That's
that
right.
when you bring children into this world, your children will see a mother and a father. So that's y'all's
Yes.
assignment. So that's how I
Yes.
reared them. their
That's
whole
right.
lives. And so now they don't play with women because I didn't allow a man to play with me
That's
in the
right.
process of rearing
That's
them.
right. That's right.
You're talking about legacy shifting, Jen. We're talking about hope, changing our perspective and shifting it so that our children, when they go into the world, their realities, even if they don't end up in successful marriages, they will be successful individuals.
Right.
Why? Because they got to see you cry, Hope. They got to see your
Yeah.
vulnerability. They got to
Yeah.
be your road dog. That
Right.
friendship that was
Right.
established, that as Gen
Right.
Xers, my grandmother would tell me, I ain't your friend.
Your friend. Right.
I ain't your friend. Go outside and play with somebody your own age.
Right.
Well,
Right.
we had to,
Right.
like, I feel like we should get a certificate of completion
Right.
rearing children as Gen Xers because we had to compete with and still do with social media and cell
Right.
phones and our children being exposed to people that they shouldn't even know what's going on in China right now. They shouldn't know what's happening in Thailand because then when they see individuals their age there, what do? They naturally do? They naturally compare.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
we have to
Mhm.
constantly be growing and
Mhm.
evolving as moms, as wives,
Right.
as human beings to be able to continue to be clear in terms of charting the path for our children well into adulthood because we
Right.
just become we
Right.
shift from being managers to
Right.
consultants.
Right. Right.
There
So
was a discussion in social media that I saw that was talking about there was a sister who had posted something about raising her sons and being a single mom raising boys. And there was
Right.
a lot of comments from men about
mhm,
women's inability to raise strong, productive men, or that a lot of the troubled
Right.
men that you see in the streets or videos that you see of black men in trouble are because
Right.
there was a black male absent in the home. So can we talk just a little bit about
Come on, talk
because
about that.
all we've all had that experience. So a little bit about that myth or that image that's portrayed that women, single moms, can't raise strong boys
it's
Well,
definitely a
into
myth.
men.
Go ahead, Jen, please
that's a
go.
myth. We're gonna lay this one down. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was mothered by a single mom.
Say
That's
that.
right.
He was.
Yeah.
Yet that although of course even when we have a mom they can't give us everything, but the minister always talks about how she was amazing as a
That's
mother
it.
and
That's
gave
it.
us an amazing foundation. So I think this
Mm-hmm.
whole farce that you can't achieve, there's
Mm,
many people that have done amazing things being raised by single parents. Now,
Yeah.
mhm.
is it am I glorifying single parenthood?
Yeah. Is it ideal? Absolutely
No,
not.
No,
I'm not
Yeah.
no.
glorifying it. I'm not saying
Right.
that the ideal isn't the best situation, but there's many circumstances that can create single parent. It could be a death of a parent.
Death.
It
That's
could
correct.
be divorce. It could be abandonment. It could be many variations that can result. And I think at every occasion, every woman is able to rise to the occasion to do the very best that she can do to bring about the results that she needs to bring
Just
about.
that's right.
Absolutely.
I just think that it requires you to be present,
Absolutely.
be able to achieve that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to I think first and foremost, we'll all agree when I say this, you have to have faith and belief that God
No
saw
doubt.
this when he created you, right?
No
If
doubt.
we're foolish if we think that God is the best knower and he's all knowing and all
That's right.
seeing and
That's
he
right.
didn't see this. He
That's
didn't
right.
see you knowing that you were going to be a single parent. Like, come on,
That's right.
stop it. Number
Come
one.
on.
Number
Yeah.
two, that is a whole lie because I know how I can count the number of young men that's between this group right here that we have fully functioning, mature
Big time.
children with work ethics. Jen, your middle son just got married and
Hmm.
he's a business owner, been a successful business owner for
Yes.
years,
For a
right?
minute.
Yes.
For years. Your
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
older son and your younger son, again, they are respectful young men, right?
That's right.
They are loving young
That's right.
men, right?
That's right.
The,
That's right.
the
Business owners
same.
as well, entrepreneurs doing their thing.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
I've never had that.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
I've had amazing and they don't have a broken wrist.
That's it.
You know,
That's
they,
it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
you
it.
know what I mean? They are present and they
Right.
are men, and they are
Right,
doing things. And
right.
just because you're raised by women doesn't mean that this expectation that just because you raise single parent that there's expectation, oh, they're gonna be feminizing them. Your woman,
And
a mother's gonna make them weak.
we got
Yeah.
and we have to definitely dispel that because at the end of the day, we have no control in
That's right.
terms of how the decisions our children first of all, it's
Mate.
the world that they are
That's right.
exposed to. So
That's
let us
right.
make that very
That's
clear,
right.
right?
That's right.
Because the world that they are exposed to, that's
That's
who
right.
we are competing against
That's
every
right.
day. This world that makes evil fair seeming,
Evil
right?
fair seeming.
That's what we're competing against. I think this. I talked about your sons. I know, Hope. I have not met your children, but I hear
That's
and
right.
see because I'm always
Amazing
stalking your
children.
social media page. I stay on your page,
Right.
man. I stay in your business. Loving, loving
Amazing.
children, right? Who are close knit,
That's right.
right?
Yep.
Who are respectful,
That's right.
Yep.
right? I mean, that you did that. You
Mhm.
did
I
that.
did. I did it.
You did that. You did that. And my
Mhm.
brother. I
Mhm.
just said to you about your husband. I feel like he is a very balanced and loving man who trusts you and your parenting capabilities, and he supports you. And I love seeing that he has an amazing
That's
energy,
right.
right?
That's right.
Y'all did that.
Yes.
Y'all did that.
Praise be
Absolutely.
to Allah.
Blending the family
Absolutely.
together. Y'all did that because
Absolutely.
that's not
We did.
easy.
It's
My
not easy.
sons,
It's not
beautiful
easy.
sons. I have amazing sons. My oldest son is a consummate artist,
Yes, you do.
but these guys are respectful,
That's
right?
right.
My sons have a work ethic. My
Mhm.
sons know that because I taught them growing up. If you want to go out on a date with a girl, then you need to get a job because I
That's
don't date
right.
women, so you cannot have my money. Go and get your
Right.
own. So, because a woman is
Right.
a responsibility. When you look
That's
over
right.
there, that's not a toy. That's a
That's right.
responsibility. And they've carried
Right.
that with themselves, and they are responsible with their choices in terms of who they choose to be in their inner circles, who they choose to interact with. So, again, that is a lie, Hope. And I need that women to
Yeah.
hear us and know that you can
That's
allow
right.
somebody else to dictate to you what you're capable of doing by God
Exactly.
with God's backing.
Exactly.
Right.
Because if God
Mhm.
put you in a position, that means He gave you the permission to be successful. You just have to know that you're capable of it
That's
and
right.
then move out on it because
That's
prayer
right.
without works is
It's
fundamentally
dead.
dead.
You dead.
It's
Mhm.
It's
dead.
dead.
That's
There's
it.
no need for
Stop
the
That's
praying
it.
to God.
limitations.
Yeah.
There's
So
no
stop
need for
praying to
the.
God.
Mm-mm.
Go, Jen. Go, Jen.
No, go ahead.
I'm just saying,
Go ahead.
stop praying to God for, God to please help me. And then you don't get up and activate the God that dwells
Come
within
on.
you and go
Come
and
on. Talk
help
about that.
yourself
That's right.
Yeah.
with his
That's right.
permission and his
That's
bounty.
right.
Yeah.
No
So
limitations.
none.
Just
No limitations.
boundaries and say, I
You got me
can't.
hot, Sister Hope. You got me hot. You got me hot with that foolishness. Because that's the
Well,
truth.
Literally.
the final little piece that I think I want to interject is the importance of a village if you have it, right?
That's
Mhm.
I
it.
was just thinking
Mhm.
about my daughter
Mhm.
is now a single parent herself.
Mhm. Yeah.
Her children's
Talk about
father
that.
lives in another state.
Mhm.
So she's pulling on her cousins,
Mm-hmm.
her
Mm-hmm.
uncles,
Mm-hmm.
whoever she can to
Mhm.
step
Mm-hmm.
in for my grandson who's 13, um, to be there for
Mm.
him and to do the things that need to be done. So I think it's also another important piece that we know innately where we are strong and where there's a deficit, and we know where to
Absolutely.
pull to
Mhm.
be able
Absolutely.
to fill those gaps and make sure that our children are well rounded,
That's right.
even when we are
Absolutely.
single parenting. You
That's
know.
Absolutely. I love that because I think this. I think that and again, I'm just based on my own experience. My sons, it's just the three of us. And so I've
Yes.
always taught them that, you have family that you're related to. I mean, you have relatives, right? Biological people that
right.
you're related to by blood, but
Right.
family is chosen. My
That's right.
family are the two ladies that are on this podcast with me. They're
That's right.
aunties.
That's
They're
right.
aunties, and the village
That's right.
fundamentally
That
helped
village
me
is real.
rear my sons successfully. So
Mhm.
you're
Hmm.
absolutely correct
Hmm.
about that, Sister
Hmm.
Hope. So
Hmm.
Jen, you talked about the strength we didn't ask for, but I would say we all grew into it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We grew into
And
it.
thankful for it.
Mhm.
Thankful for it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. And there are going to be days where we don't feel like we are enough, but
That's right.
we know that showing up counts for
Yep.
something. So just
Absolutely.
show up because that counts
Absolutely.
for something. So
Absolutely. And showing ourselves grace, showing
There's
ourselves
that word.
There's that
Grace.
word.
Grace
Man,
and
that's the theme
patience
word.
and patience
Ooh, I need to
and
practice
patience.
patience.
There's no book. There's no
No, ma'am.
manual. I'm
No,
thankful for the
ma'am.
teachings. I'm thankful for what I got and received in the teaching that helped me to navigate these things where I didn't have that I didn't have the gaps that I could have had if I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To
Mm-hmm.
your point, Hope, and to your point,
Faith
Tony,
is everything.
yeah, literally. But I think that village is everything too. You know, having
Absolutely.
sisters, having your community, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and just walking in truth. Walking in truth,
Absolutely.
recognizing that it ain't easy, but you can do it. So this whole
Yeah.
thought of lamenting over, my gosh, woe is me, woe is me. Nah, you got to put your big girl panties on and
That's
To
handle
get
your.
it.
it done. That's right. That's
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 right.
right.
it.
Put your big girl panties on and handle your business and do what you
Yeah.
need
Absolutely.
to do for the good of yourself, for the good of your children. And there's and we have to do it. We
That's
have,
the mic
Absolutely.
drop right there. That's the mic
Right.
drop.
yeah,
I was about to say, come on, Jen.
no
Like,
doubt,
look, sexual
no doubt,
chocolate.
no doubt,
Sexual.
no doubt, girl.
Yeah, that's it. We out. We out on that. We are out on that.
Literally, literally,
I mean,
literally,
this was an amazing topic. I mean,
for
I
sure.
love the two of you so much.
Me too, bro.
And the more
Me too.
I get to just delve into your brains, honey, and just see the intellect. I mean, it makes me fall in love with y'all every episode. You all are some
Praise God.
amazing, beautiful women,
Yep, yep.
inside and out, and
You are
we
that girl.
Back at you, sis.
Back at you, back at you.
praise God,
And there's
praise
one
God.
thought that came to my mind, even when you talked about love, is that the more we love ourselves as single
Absolutely,
parents, the more we're able to reflect that outside
To our babies.
to our
Yeah.
baby.
truly,
I had a
truly.
call, I had a conversation with my son yesterday. We were sitting having dinner at a restaurant, and he said, "Ma, when you were raising us, I mean, you were like on it. You were on. He
Mm-hmm.
said, Ma, at some
Mm-hmm.
point you changed." And that really,
Mm.
and I said, "What do you mean I changed, Faj?" He said, "Yeah, there was a point you just changed." And you know what he told me? He said, "Ma, I felt at that point you started focusing on yourself."
Mm.
Mm.
That was the
Mm.
point of that shift where he said
Yes.
that I started falling in love with myself, focusing
Come
on
on.
myself. And that tripped
Come
me
on.
Come
out.
on, 50s.
I mean,
Girl.
really, but it tripped me out.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Darn, like I don't recall that shift.
Of course
Well,
not.
it
Because you're
may have
not lonely.
happened, but I don't recall that shift where I
Ma'am, they
started
study us. They study
looking
us.
at myself. And I think
Yes.
part of healthy parenting in a healthy way is we're very much intrinsically involved in that process. The more we
Absolutely.
love ourselves, our children see that and we affirm positivity to them. The more I
Yes.
love
Yes.
myself, my daughter sees that. So she'll
Right.
make better choices, make good
Right.
choices for herself.
Right.
Sometimes will
Right.
make good choices for themselves. So I think that part of ourself
Right.
journey with self is huge. It's intrinsically involved in that
It
whole
is.
of being a
I mean,
single.
how do you have an expectation of your children doing something if they don't have a tangible example of what it looks like?
Right.
They
Right. They got to
need it.
see it.
They have to see it. And so the first way that they see that is by us, to your point, loving ourselves. And our children study us more than we think they do. My sons,
Right.
when I was going through the early part of phases of the divorce, my sons crawled into bed with me one day and they just looked at me and said, "You know what, Mom? We just think you're a flower that hasn't blossomed yet."
Yep. Yep.
I
Oh,
mean, it
that's
just threw.
beautiful.
I mean, do you understand what I'm saying to
Wow.
you? They
Wow.
see us from an external way with a loving heart. And
Hmm.
now they're just like, you're blossoming all over the place. They're
Yeah.
so proud of
Hmm.
us and this podcast. I mean, they really are rooting and cheering for us in the background, right? So you are 100% correct. Us loving ourselves, us chasing our dreams, us
Chasing our
going after the
dreams.
things that we want to do
That's
and
right.
showing them,
You can
ma'am,
do
that's better than anything, any instructions you can
That's
give
right.
them.
That's right.
Yes.
There's
That's
nothing
right.
better.
That's
So,
right.
all
Nothing
right,
better.
y'all. We're almost at the 45-minute
We
mark.
are. We are.
All
We are.
right.
All right.
Well,
Do we want to? I hope you did an amazing job of asking people to click on our YouTube channel, subscribe to Add Strength by Design podcast. That is our YouTube channel.
Yes, yes,
Add
yes.
Strength by Design podcast.
That's
Please subscribe, watch our podcasts,
right.
like them, share
Yes.
them with your
Share.
friends. Follow us, please,
Follow us.
on our social media channels. We're everywhere. We're on TikTok. We are
That's
on
all
Instagram.
over.
We're on Facebook. And
Facebook.
again,
That's right.
we're everywhere. As Strength by Design
That's
podcast
right.
is our
That's right.
handle. So
That's
until
right.
next time, I
Till
love
next
you
time.
both, you two beautiful women.
Love you.
And all right. Thank you, everybody.
Next
Until
time.
next
Till next time.
time. Peace.